All right, everybody, welcome back. I have no clue what part this is because I didn't look that up before I started recording, but I think we're on 21 or 22. I'll double check that before we start working in here. So before we get in here, before we start working in this room, I did actually, let me flip that around so it can help me see a little bit better. I did actually make a bunch of room at the top there. So I shuffled some things around, I moved some things around. I made a little bit of space in here, which is nice. But before we get into, again, what's in the other room, I did actually watch a couple VHS over the weekend because I figured since it was Pie Day on the Saturday, I watched American Pie because I haven't watched the American Pie movies in a little bit. And I did watch, actually, yeah, we'll do that. I did actually watch American Pie Band Camp because, yes, this actually did come out. There we go. This actually did come out on VHS. Now, this is the R-rated version. The unrated version never came out on VHS. But for the American Pie movies, to my knowledge, the only one that needed to get edited to get the R was the first one. All the sequels, yeah, they have R-rated and unrated, but I think it's really just fluff. Maybe a couple extra seconds of something sexy, but from what I understand, the sequels all got the R rating with no problem. So yeah, they actually did put out Bandcamp on VHS, and there is a commercial for WWE Monday Night Raw for some reason on there randomly, but oh well. And then I figured I'll watch a couple other early 2000s teen sex comedies to go with it. So we have Slackers, which I do like this one. It didn't do anything at the box office. It didn't go anywhere. I think it was only in theaters for 2 weeks, and they pulled it because it didn't make any money. But I remember watching this on Comedy Central back in the day. And again, I like it for what it is. It's not the greatest movie, but it's got a good cast. If it didn't have the cast that it did, I wouldn't give a shit. So there you go. And then another one, I actually quite enjoyed this movie. I've always quite enjoyed it, is The Girl Next Door, which did get the R-rated and unrated versions both on VHS. I think this is another example where I don't think the movie needed anything cut out to get the R rating. They just changed some shots and, added some different things in there to kind of fall into the gimmick, because a lot of people always ask me that. They said, when they started doing all those unrated or director's cuts for the DVDs, a lot of it was just fluff. A lot of it they would cut stuff on purpose and then put it back in to make it seem like they had to actually cut it out. But a lot of that in the peak of the DVD days, when they were every movie was getting multiple versions, a lot of it was just for fluff. So there you go. All right, so now we are going to go into the other room, and we'll talk about a bunch of stuff in there, and it will not take 21 parts or whatever. Yeah, I think it's part 22, but I'll double check. So we'll get set up, and we'll get rocking and rolling in there. See ya. Okay, so this is actually part 21. So now that we have that out of the way. So that's first, because I didn't know what part it was. This is second. There we go. So let's get started here. Anyway, so this is all stuff that I know for a fact I have not watched yet, because this is all stuff that I have accumulated since I have gotten out of the Army. So when I first got out of the Army, which was 7? Yes, good God, 7 years. I've been out 7 years. Oh man, it's a long time ago already. So this is all stuff that I have accumulated since then. when I was in that shitty little apartment, and now I'm in here. So now I have room for everything, but problem like we all have is I keep buying. So we'll get into this right now. So I'll just kind of start somewhere, and then we will go from here, and then down below here. So this is actually all sitting on top of a desk. So I have the top completely covered, and then I have all the drawers pretty much full. So this is pretty much full. This is pretty much stacked. I need to start working on this stuff relatively soon here. That way I have room to kind of move around and grow and go from there. So let's just do it. Let's get into it. So I will start, get a little more comfortable here. I'll start here. Now some of this stuff you have seen before over the various collection updates and such, and some of it you've never seen before, so you get a little bit of everything here. But first up, you did see this in the last collection update, but I did finally get the original, well, not the original, but the clamshell release of Dirty Harry. I feel it, hold on. I'll wait, it'll come out. There it is, sorry. But this is the clamshell release, I think from the 80s, 1981. So they did do the first four. Oh, sorry, that's my throat making weird noises. The first four Dirty Harry movies did come out in the old Warner Brother clamshell releases. So I finally got Dirty Harry recently here. And then Dirty Harry and Magnum Force both got like the Enter the Dragon that I have, kind of the bigger box release of that. I'm going to move shit around anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I do have that also. I would like to get those two as well. I don't have that one. And then I do have the Dirty Harry, the complete Dirty Harry box set. So this is all the other movies because, again, the Deadpool only got the regular slipcover, and I did get all these brand new recently here. So I did have, back in the day, I did have some of the Dirty Harry movies on VHS, but I don't think I had all of them. Like when I first started here on YouTube, I may have had all of them. I'm not sure. I may have, I may not have. I can't remember. It's been, again, over 15 years, or 15 years at this point, so there's that. So we have the original, which again recycled the front artwork. The rear artwork is a little different, but then when Warner Brothers went to these slipcovers, it's kind of standard style artwork there, which is pretty cool. And then we have Magnum Force. And I did get, again, this was brand new. I just cut, again, the bottoms to get the tapes out, and then I cut the box just to get the tapes in and out. And we got the Enforcer. I would like to watch, I did watch these in December, but I would like to start watching these more often again. And then we've got Sudden Impact, which does have a Clint Directs Clint hype sticker on there. I had never seen one of those before. Same with the Death Wish movies. I do want to watch those more often like I used to. And then we've got the Deadpool. So there you go. So yeah, now I finally have all the Dirty Harry movies on VHS. Like I said, I don't think I ever. Okay. All right. Well, that is not going to work. Yeah. But that will. So there we go. Just got too much shit in this room. Not just this stuff. I got way too much other shit in here, but oh well. Alright, now next up, I did get this recently. I think I had this in the last collection update. This is Halloween 1995. Rob Zombie hosted a week of zombie-themed movies on the Sci-Fi Channel and did host segments, and they were filming one of the one of the White Zombie videos at the time. So this is the broadcast of White Zombie, the Bela Lugosi movie, which is where the White Zombie got their name from. Now this is a copy. This is not a first generation because the guy has put multiple ones of this up. So I thought it was an original, but I've never seen it on there before, so it's really not that big of a deal. But I think the original Night of the Living Dead was one of the other movies. Sorry. And then Night of the Creeps was one of the films. But I don't know what the other two are off the top of my head. So sorry. Then recently got the original big box release of the Beastmaster, which is actually in really, really nice shape, which is why I picked it up. And it was only $10. I got this actually down at the flea market that I like to go to. But yeah, I now have the Beastmaster trilogy on VHS. I'll have to one night do a Beastmaster trilogy night, so that'll be fun. Then we've got, this is a screener. This is for the first episode of X-Men Evolution. This is for Strategy X. There's a bunch more the WB screeners, which we'll get to in a little while here. But yeah, I got this really, really cheap off of eBay. But yeah, this is when X-Men Evolution premieres. So this again was sent out to the reviewers and such for them to write a review and go from there. Sorry. Still trying to wake up here a little bit. And then we have Speed Racer, the movie. It's not an actual movie. It's just several of the episodes edited together to make it seem like a movie. And apparently this did play in theaters in some markets back in the day, but I think it was mostly straight to video. But yeah, this is The Car Hater, The Treacherous Pirate, and The Race Against the Mammoth Car are the 3 episodes. Or it's 4. I think The Race Against the Mammoth Car is a 2-parter. But those are the episodes that are included on here. So there's that. Very nice. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of work my way back, and then it'll balance itself out. But I'll probably have to do a lot of cutting and moving some shit around here, but it's no big deal. Yeah, we'll just go here, and then we'll work our way back. So I had this before, used to have this one, but I'm starting to get more of the Highlander TV show stuff back on VHS, because there was one time when I had everything Highlander TV show related on video, and then actually when I moved in here I got rid of it just for space, but I kind of want to get it all again because Highlander is not only one of my favorite TV shows and franchises, but you know, pretty much everything for the series came out on VHS, so why not? But I did get this at the flea market, I think the last time I was there. This is Highlander The Gathering, which is again a movie that they just put out on VHS. It's the pilot episode with Christopher Lambert, as you can see on the cover. And then the second episode is, I think it's Revenge is Sweet. It's the one with Vanity, Prince's girlfriend, back in the day. So I think it's Revenge is Sweet. So they're both from the first season, and again they're just edited together to make it seem like it's a movie. So there you go. That was actually supposed to come out on Laserdisc, but it never did for whatever reason. So there you go. Had this before, but when I got the movies on, I think when I got them on DVD, I got rid of these because I wasn't collecting VHS. Or no, that's not true. I'm sorry. I had this as a screener. So yeah, I got rid of the screener and then got the retail copy, but it is Lethal Weapon 4, which I did get this at the flea market the last time I went there. It was actually free. The guy just gave it to me for free because I bought a bunch of other stuff, so I cannot complain. But I had this before, got rid of it, picked it back up as a screener, and then got rid of the screener, and now I have the retail copy. again. So there you go. Sorry, I felt like I had to yawn again. My bad. And then I would like to watch the Lethal Weapon movies more often, like I used to. There's a lot that I would like to watch more often, but I just simply don't have the time to do that, sadly. And then we got El Mariachi, which I did get sealed recently here, because I actually never had this on VHS. I also got it on Laserdisc recently, too. I only ever had this on DVD. I did have that old DVD trilogy, but I got rid of that when I got Desperado on Blu-ray. But I do like El Mariachi. I do want to get the Arrow video set. I do want to get that at some point. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, like I said, I've only seen that a handful of times, and I don't really remember much of it, so we'll have to go from there. Now, this is cool. This is interesting. This is a bootleg of the Halloween Resurrection work print when it was called Halloween the Homecoming. I found this randomly on eBay, which is very cool. So I have the producer's cut of Halloween 6. I have the work print of H2O and one of the work prints of Resurrection, because there's two. This one is the earlier work print, which again was called The Homecoming. So this has more of the deleted scenes and everything in it. The other one, it's called Resurrection. There's some differences, but not as much as this. Excuse me. So there you go. But I love finding these old VHS bootlegs. This is actually how a lot of the work prints leaked out back in the day, because when they would have a market for, bootleg VHS of movies coming out in the theaters and stuff, when people would go in and record them, a lot of them were actually the work prints that somehow someone got, and that's how a lot of them leaked out back in the day. So there you go. Also got this. I got this at Retro Replay, actually, which again, the people that run the movie store, the video store in the flea market also own that. But I did get a sealed copy of The Great Escape on VHS. Listen, there you go. And this is, I think, 1988. So there you go. But I actually remember renting this copy back with this artwork back in the day at the video store, which is very cool. So cannot go wrong with The Great Escape. And I actually never had that on VHS up until now. I only ever had it on DVD and Blu-ray, and then about a year or two ago I got it on Laserdisc because I found it really cheap somewhere, and then finally just got lucky and found it on VHS in the wild, as they say. Brand new, so I can't complain. Then I got this over Christmas because I did not have this movie in the collection, and it is a Christmas action film. When it aired, because this was made for the TBS Superstation back in the day, it aired as Christmas Rush. When it came out on DVD and VHS, they called it Breakaway for whatever reason, but I just call it Christmas Rush because, again, that's what it was called. I actually watched this back in 2002 when it originally aired and always really liked it. I know we're not supposed to talk about Dean Cain, but I always liked Dean Cain, so there you go. But I always enjoyed this. I always had fun with this. It's Die Hard, basically at a shopping mall. And it is a Christmas movie. It does take place around Christmas, so even better, right? Couldn't be more on the nose, could it? But it's fun. It's a fun movie. So there you go. Then I found this. Where did I get this? Oh, I think I got this at the... It's actually an old barn that they converted into like an antique and collectible place. It's about a half an hour from here. I got this there. But Body Parts with Jeff Fahey, which I don't think I've ever seen this before, but I think it was like $5. It was like $3 or $5, so I grabbed it. Unfortunately, it does not have the label. I did not know that until right now. If I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have bought it, but I think it'll be okay. I can always get another copy or whatever. Sorry, my fucking eye itches. Again, it's not really that big of a deal, so there you go. But yeah, we have body parts here, which again, I don't think I've ever seen. That's why I got it so cheap. Then we got a couple Don the Dragon Wilson movies here on VHS. I don't have, the only other one that I have is Ring of Fire 3 Lion Strike, which we previously covered. I did have these before, and then I got rid of them. I did have a couple more Don the Dragon movies back in the day, but when I got them on DVD, I got rid of them. But I want to get, like, I do want to get all the Blood Fist movies and some of the other ones. I don't think I need to get every single one that he did, but because some of them are not good, like Operation Cobra, but I would like to get a good bit of them. So I did have Blood Fist 2 at one point. I think I might have only had Blood Fist 2. I don't think I had all the Blood Fist movies, but this was the last one where they were actually connected to each other. After this, a lot of the Blood Fist movies were whatever their subtitles were. Like the third one was called Forced to Fight. When it first came out, it was just called Forced to Fight, and then they retitled it to fit with Blood Fist. So they did that for pretty much the rest of them. They were not Blood Fist movies, and then they became Blood Fist movies magically. So there you go. And then I did have this one before, but we have Ring of Fire 2, Blood and Steel. And I think, yeah, I remember having Ring of Fire 2 and 3. I don't think I ever had the first one on VHS. And I think I only had Blood Fist 2 and then maybe 4. I didn't have many, but like I said, I did have some more, but I got rid of them. But I got both of these, at the antique place I was just talking about. Got to get back up there because they're newer. I think they've only been open a year or two. And like I said, it was actually an old barn that was converted. But they always got cool stuff in there, so I'd like to get back up there. Then we have another PM Entertainment movie, which I have not seen, but I always wanted to. It is Maximum Force with Sam Jones, a.k.a. Flash Gordon. I think it's Sherry Rose, who claimed that Lauren Avedon ruined her career. Well, I don't think that's what happened, but oh well. John Saxon's in it. Richard Lynch is in it. Mickey Rooney's in it. Jason Lively, son of Ernie Lively, and he was also in Night of the Creeps, as it says on the back here. But yeah, I've always wanted to see this one, but I never have. So I got it for, again, a couple bucks at the antique spot. So there's that. And we'll just roll. We'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5, and then I'll kind of shift some things around, and we'll get it going. So there you go. Sorry. All right. Next up, I got this, I think at the flea market or a Retro Replay. I think it was Retro Replay, but it was sealed. But it's American Kickboxer 2. Excuse me. Which is not actually the sequel to American Kickboxer. They just called it that for whatever reason. The real sequel to American Kickboxer is called To the Death, which they do have. Every time I go in there, it's still in Retro Replay, but it's a screener, and I don't really collect screeners anymore, so I want the retail copies. But this one's okay. I don't mind this movie. David Graff is in it from the Police Academy films. And then you got Evan Laurie, who was in a bunch of these type of movies. And then this is Dale Apollo Cook, who was I think he was a 5-time world champion, which is cool. But he made a bunch of movies, but I think that's the only one I've ever seen that he was in. So I have to go check out some of the other films. Then, like I said, I relapsed. I did find Mortal Kombat Annihilation on VHS, so again I relapsed and got this one back in the collection, but it was, I think, $5 at the flea market, so why not? This one was free. I got this at the flea market, but he just gave it to me because I bought some other tapes, but we have Blast from the Past, which I did get to see this maybe about a year or so ago because it was a paid request on the old channel. And I actually really enjoyed this movie, and I had not seen it until then. Unfortunately, when it came out, it didn't really do well. It didn't do much. But I do quite enjoy it. So, yeah, definitely want to pick it up on Blu-ray. But got it on VHS as well. It did come out on Laserdisc, but it's a late title. And it is pretty hard to come by. So we'll have to save that for another time. But oh well. Then I finally got Waterworld recently. I think I got this at the flea market as well. Or Retro Replay, either or. But I never had Waterworld on VHS, and a lot of the times when I would see it out and about, out in the wild, as they say, it would always be one of the later reprints, and this is actually the original, so that's why I wanted to get that. So, but yeah, I never, for whatever reason, I never had this on VHS. I don't know why. Oh well. Then finally got this. Always wanted to get this movie because I really enjoyed it. And we've got Dead Bang with Don Johnson, directed by John Frankenheimer. And this is from Blockbuster. So there you go. But I got this at, I think, the flea market or, again, Retro Replay, either or. Tomato. But great movie. Always really enjoyed it. There is a German Blu-ray that's out there now. I do want to pick that up because for whatever reason they have decided that Warner Brothers does not want to release it here in America for whatever reason. So I will grab that one at some point. And then we've got Ring of Steel, which number one is actually not on DVD. And I've heard a lot of good things about this movie. Now, it's not really a martial arts movie. It's more of like a swordplay type of film. But I've heard, again, quite a few good things about this. It was $15 because, again, this is not on DVD. It did come out on Laserdisc, but no DVD, so it's stuck on an analog format, which I'm okay with. But, yeah, so there you go. But again, heard a lot of good things about this movie, so I figured, what the hell, take a shot. If I like it, cool. If not, it's no big deal. Next up, we have Dollar for the Dead, which is the other Western that Emilio Estevez did that is not one of the Young Guns movies, but this was made for TNT. It is a TNT original movie. I don't think I've ever seen this, but this is back in the late 90s and early 2000s. They were making a lot of these made-for-cable westerns. Tom Selleck starred in a bunch of them, like Crossfire Trail was one of them, which I have that on DVD, which I like. I think Monty Walsh was one. So they did a bunch of those. Tom Berenger was in a couple. So yeah, they were really pumping out these made for TV, made for cable westerns. And then, of course, since they had a deal with Warner Brothers, they put a lot of these out on VHS and DVD, which is very cool. Howie Long is also in it from Pro Football and then Broken Arrow. Joaquin D. Alameda is in it. Ed Lauder's in it. Jonathan Banks is in it. William Forsythe. So there's a pretty good cast in here. So yeah, definitely want to watch this soon. Maybe I'll do a triple feature. I'll do the Young Guns movies and then I'll do this one. We'll see. So there's that. Then finally been wanting to get this on VHS for quite a while. I did have a screener for this, but I did get this at again, I can't remember if it was the flea market or Retro Replay, but The Frighteners, and I love the lenticular cover there, which is very cool. But yeah, this been wanting to get this on VHS for quite a while because I only ever had a screener copy of this, and I would love if Arrow were to pick this up. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love if Arrow got a hold of this one. And good luck trying to get this on Laserdisc because the Universal signature collection is quite expensive. So there you go. Oh shit! I have so I have 2 copies of. Okay, so I screwed up. I bought 2 copies, but I'll check and see which one's in better shape. But I do have some more Street Sharks here. I did not have this one before. This is the Gene Slammin' Begins, which this is, I think, the first episode of the show, if I'm not mistaken. The first 3 episodes. Yeah, I think it's the first 3 episodes because it is an hour. So there you go. So I did not have this one before. And it did come with some of the ads and such. And then I screwed up because I already have a copy of Shark Quest. I didn't think I had one, but I'll go in the closet and see which one's in better shape, and I'll keep that one. So, but yeah, there was only 3 Street Sharks VHS, so I do have all 3. But again, I screwed up. You know me, I'm always screwing up. Alright, then we've got, this is the Special Director's Cut Deluxe Letterbox Edition of Thief, which is the version that I prefer, which it's really not that much different from the theatrical cut, but I do always, for the most part, I do prefer the Director's Cut to Michael Mann films. The only one that I don't is Heat, because they took out some of Al Pacino's dialogue and then changed some things up that honestly didn't need to be changed. But for Thief, I do prefer the Director's Cut. And I think this was the only release of the Director's Cut on VHS. I think the rest of them are the original theatrical version. And this came out in 96. So there you go. Which I believe it had already come out on Laserdisc at that point. So there you go. Then speaking of Michael Mann and Director's Cuts, I do have Manhunter, which was, of course, the original Hannibal Lecter movie. And in my book, it's still the best Hannibal Lecter movie, which has a Hannibal Lecter Begins Here hype sticker. So there you go. Now, what's funny about this is my dad actually had this VHS long ago. I actually was looking through some old pictures, and I actually saw this in the pictures, which was cool. But I don't know what happened to that VHS. That just got up and disappeared. But this is a former Blockbuster rental, and for the movies that weren't rated, or even some of the wrestling stuff that they had, they would put this youth restricted sticker on here, so an adult had to rent it. But for wrestling, really, come on now. And there's the Blockbuster sticker on the back, and it is good old Anchor Bay, because Anchor Bay did have the license for Manhunter for a little bit. They did put this out on VHS and DVD, but have it on Blu-ray, which you will see in the next collection update, and Laserdisc, but also wanted it on VHS. So there you go. And again, it is a director's cut, where the director's cut is better than the theatrical version. So there you go. And a couple more in this stack here, and then we'll move on. So first up, we've got Jimi Hendrix, Band of Gypsies, which was actually my favorite thing that he did. I do have this on DVD, but I found it at the flea market on VHS, so I figured why not pick it up on VHS as well. And then we've got Iron Monkey 2, which is not anywhere connected or has anything to do with the first Iron Monkey, which I do have that. I did get that recently. You'll see that in the next collection update. But yeah, they did do a sequel in name only, again, to Iron Monkey 2. But it does have Billy Chow in it, who fought Jet Li in Fist of Legend. So there you go. And good old Tai Sang Video Marketing, the fancy schmancy bootleg label for all your Asian movie needs. The Weinsteins, Dimension, Miramax, whatever, they did have the rights to this movie, but they never put it out for whatever reason. They made a trailer. They actually did make a trailer for it, but for whatever reason, they never released it. So, whatever. Gotta love it. And then I do have Super Cop 2, which I did find this at a record store. I think last year I found it in there, which is pretty cool. But I did like this. It's not really connected to the first movie. Michelle Yeoh does play the same character, Jessica Yang, and Jackie Chan does have a brief cameo in the movie. But other than that, and it is directed by Stanley Tong, who did Super Cop. But other than that, it's not really connected to the first movie, and this is from Blockbuster as well. But I do have that on DVD. Did come out on DVD here in America. I actually enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't think it was bad. Michelle Yeoh did her dubbing in it, but Jackie Chan did not, because I guess they figured he was only in one scene. What's the point of having him come in and do one scene? You know what I mean? Oh well. Alright, actually I will save this one for there. Like I said, I will shuffle some things around and move some things around. Since it is connected, I'll save that for later, a little bit later on here. But next up, excuse me, I do have some Thomas Ian Griffith movies on VHS. Some of these I had before, and then when I got them on DVD, I got rid of them, but wanted to pick these back up, especially the first one and the last one. So I do have Excessive Force, which was definitely his best movie. Always really enjoyed this one. It's a shame that New Line got cold feet on this movie, because I think if they would have given it a bigger, wider release, it would have done, I think it would have done okay, and then he could have had more theatrical movies, because the rest of the stuff that he did went straight to video for the most part. But again, always really enjoyed this film, and this is a former Blockbuster rental here, which is very cool. I have this on DVD, have it on Laserdisc. There is a overseas German Blu-ray, which I would like to pick up, because again, here in America, they just don't want to release it for whatever reason. And then this never came out on DVD. It's only on VHS and Laserdisc, as far as I know. I think the DVDs that are available overseas are all bootlegs. But we have Cracker Jack, which is Die Hard at a ski resort. But I actually really enjoyed this one. I had quite a bit of fun with this movie. Christopher Plummer is the bad guy. You really can't go wrong. And Natasha Kinski is in it when she was still smoking hot. So there you go. And this is also from Blockbuster. So there you go. But yeah, this was, again, had fun with this movie. Like I said, it's really Die Hard at a ski resort, but it's got a lot of good model work. At the end, when they blow up the ski resort, excuse me, they actually spent quite a bit of time and money on getting that right, and they built these nice models to blow up, which is cool. And then we've got Hollow Point with him and Tia Carrere and John Lithgow and Donald Sutherland. This is on DVD. I do have this on DVD. But I actually enjoyed this one. This is pretty fun. New Image made this film, who did, Operation Delta Force and a bunch of other B movies and such. But yeah, actually quite enjoyed this. And then I think they also did Beyond Forgiveness. I think they did that one with Thomas Ian Griffith as well, which I already covered that one. But there you go. And then we've got, I had this one before, got rid of it, got it back in the collection, but we've got Time Cop 2, The Berlin Decision, which actually, not bad. I wish they would have did a sequel with Van Damme. Out of all the movies that Van Damme did, I mean, he did do Universal Soldier: The Return, which I enjoy, but if I had to pick one movie that Van Damme should have did a sequel to, I would say Time Cop, to be honest. But I did enjoy this one. Thomas Ian Griffith plays the villain, and then you got Jason Scott Lee. Unfortunately, Jason Scott Lee didn't really be as big of a star as he should have, and unfortunately, he didn't really do a whole lot of movies like this in the B movie world, but he should have, at least in my book. But that's okay. But I actually quite enjoy this. It is on DVD. Right now it's kind of stuck on DVD. It would be cool if it got a Blu-ray, but I don't think that's going to happen. And the ones behind me are going to fall. So I will do actually these quick, and then I'll move some things around because I'm already kind of tight on space here. So, I recently got these. But we got the Crocodile Dundee trilogy on VHS because I thought that they did a box set. I thought Paramount did a box set for these movies, but they did not. They only released them individually. So this is one of the trilogies, so to speak, that they have where they did not do a box set. Beverly Hills Cop got a box set. Naked Gun got a box set, and then the first 3 Jack Ryan movies got a box set. Some other stuff got box sets, but not the Crocodile Dundee movies for whatever reason. So there you go. So I got these again individually, but we have the original. I think I got them from the same seller as well. So there you go. So this is a early 90s release. So this is not the original release, but it's okay. Love Crocodile Dundee. It is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. I know they put out that Blu-ray in okay. I don't know what this is about. Sorry, it just I'm sorry. I just got shit that's from 4 years ago. I'm still getting messages about. Sorry. Anyway, my bad. I just saw it pop up, and I'm like, what the fuck? So, my bad. Sorry, folks. Anyway, you guys know how it is. But yeah, Crocodile Dundee. I know they did that Blu-ray in Australia that had a little bit of features, but they edited stuff out of the movie because everyone's a pussy now. The scene where he grabs the dude's dick, the dude that's dressed up like a chick, because we're not allowed to make jokes, apparently. We're not allowed to be funny, guys. Oh, well. So, I would love if they would do a super duper Blu-ray for Crocodile Dundee. I just don't think it's going to happen. Because a lot of people don't realize that was one of the biggest hits of 1986. That was one of the biggest movies that came out that year. And there's never been a special edition DVD or Blu-ray for it, which does not make any sense. But I would love if they did a theatrical re-release. Paramount does do that. I wish they would do it for more movies because last year they put out Clueless, but there were other films that I wish that they would have put out. And they just re-released this past Friday the 13th over the weekend. They did put 3 and 4 back in theater, but they never put 2. They never put the later ones. So the fuck's going on, Paramount? Oh well. But I don't think it's going to happen for Crocodile Dundee as much as I wish that it would happen. But we'll see. Anyway, and then we have Crocodile Dundee 2, which I actually always enjoyed this one the most because this was more of the action movie. But this is 1990, so this might be an original release here of this. But oh well. But like I said, this one was always my favorite because again, it's more of the action movie in the saga. So there you go. And then we have the Paramount Special Edition of Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles. They were doing towards kind of the end of the VHS cycle. They were doing these special edition releases, putting some of the features from the DVD on there to kind of give people a little taste, so to speak. It does have some interviews which are on the DVD. There is a Blu-ray for this. I do want to get the Blu-ray, which came out later because they did a double feature of the first 2, and then they didn't release this one for a number of years, but it is now on Blu-ray. I like the movie for what it is. Is it the greatest movie ever? No, but is it the worst? Like, I've seen this movie on so many worst sequels ever. I wouldn't go that far. That's quite a stretch as far as I'm concerned. But I do like it for what it is. Again, is it a great movie? No. Was it too late? Yes, but I would much rather watch that than whatever comes out today. So there you go. And then we'll knock out Actually, I will save this because I do have more Jackie Chan movies to get to, and I will actually save this one, so I'm helping myself out. So we'll save those for the other Jackie Chan films. So I actually will wrap this little part up, and then, like I said, I will take a little bit of a breather, kind of shuffle some things around, and we'll go from there. But I did find this on eBay. This is a bootleg, because it never came out on VHS officially here. But we have the director's cut of Drive with Mark Dacascos. So I did again find this old bootleg VHS here, which is fun. I just randomly went on eBay and piped it in and was able to find it. So there you go. But this is the version that I prefer. This is the version that I like the most. I did have actually the original American cut on VHS at one point, but I only watched it one time, and I didn't like that they took out all the cool stuff, because I think when they showed this on cable here in America, it might have been the original American version. I can't remember. I saw this on cable once back in the day. But got the DVD, got actually a bootleg DVD because I didn't have a region-free player, and that was the better version. So yeah, found this, which is very cool. Have not watched it yet. Definitely will have to give this a look sometime soon here. So yeah, so what I'm going to do, just again, I'm kind of a little snug here on space and everything. I will take a little breather, move some things around, and then we will continue momentarily here. So don't you go change it. All right, probably go about another 20 or so minutes here for this segment. So let's do these. So this is actually all in this stack here. These were all sent to me. If I could talk, it is Monday after all. These were all sent to me by Pancake Poppy, so I still have not watched most of the ones that he sent me on VHS. So again, we'll have to rectify that. We'll have to change that. So first up, he did send me actually the Carnosaur trilogy, which these are pretty, I think they're pretty hard to come by on DVD now, because they only came out, other than, again, VHS and Laserdisc, they did come out on DVD. Carnosaur 2 was actually Code Red was working on a release of that, but it didn't go anywhere, and then the Olsen brothers actually passed away, so it's not going to happen now. But yeah, they were talking about putting it out on Blu-ray, and it just didn't happen. So, but I think the DVDs that are out there, I think they're pretty hard to come by now for Carnosaur. So I have them on VHS for now. So we have the original, which I guess Carnosaur could really be looked at as the original mockbuster, because it came out, I think, a week or two before Jurassic Park, and then it has Diane Ladd in the movie, who is, of course, Laura Dern's mother. So, yeah, they did that on purpose. And then we've got Carnosaur 2, which I don't think I've ever seen the first one. I've only seen Carnosaur 2 and 3. And then, even then, Roger Corman, God bless him, he tried to kind of rip himself off, because he did a movie called Raptor, which I think most of the footage was recycled from Carnosaur, and then I think he tried to do that a couple of other times. So there's that. Then we've got Carnosaur 3, Primal Species, with Scott Valentine from My Demon Lover, and we'll see more Scott Valentine in a moment here. But yeah, so like I said, I don't think I've ever seen the first one, and I have not watched 2 or 3 in probably about 20 years. So I'll have to give these a look sometime soon here. But yeah, that's the Carnosaur trilogy, which again, it's been quite a while. I remember like skipping school one time, and they were showing, I think 2 and 3 were on Showtime, And I think I had missed 2 because it came on really early, but I remember watching 3 on there. So there you go. Then speaking of Scott Valentine, he did send me Volume 1 of Phantom 2040, which is Generation Unto Generation Parts 1 and 2, which is the 2-part pilot. And Scott Valentine did the voice of the Phantom in this cartoon. I do have the other... Yeah, I do have Volume 3, which is back here, which we'll get to that later on. So these are the other 2 that I have not watched yet, so I'll have to get these a watch in here and then put them in with the other ones. But again, they did 4 volumes when the show first came on, and then they later, when the movie came out, the Billy Zane film, they did a movie where they just edited some of the episodes together. The 2-part pilot was included in there, and then I think 1 or 2 of the other episodes that were on the previous releases were kind of shuffled back in. So there you go. Next up, I had this before actually, and then I got rid of it, but then he sent me this. But we have Scorpion, which is the only movie that Tony Tolenters did. Tony Tolenters, back in the day, they tried to make him a big deal, but it didn't happen. Tony Tolenters was a martial artist that Chuck Norris fought, and the marketing and everything, how they promoted him, was the guy that Chuck Norris couldn't beat. Which is not really true, because what had happened was Chuck Norris fought this guy early in his career. As Chuck Norris got better and became a champion and everything, Tony Tolenters stopped competing and stopped fighting. Apparently, he didn't have a lot of money, so he couldn't get into a lot of tournaments and stuff like that. So the whole marketing thing about this guy being the guy that Chuck Norris couldn't beat or never beat, take it with a grain of salt, take it however you want, but, it just didn't happen. So then they tried to turn him into an action star, action hero. That didn't work, because I think this went straight to video, and that was it. And they made him grow out a mustache like Chuck Norris and everything. So then the dude just disappeared. From what I don't know if he's still alive or not. He'd have to be probably in his late 70s, early 80s at this point. But I had heard that he just kind of faded away, and I think he still trained and had schools and everything, but I think he ended up working for the government or something, from what I heard, training people and stuff. But yeah, he did do 1 movie, and that was it. This is on DVD. I don't think it got a laser disc, but it is on DVD, but it's in one of those like multi-movie packs out there. So if you can track that down, there you go. But I did have that at one point on VHS. I don't think it was really a good movie, so that's why I got rid of it. But he was kind enough to send me that, so there you go. Then we have The Curve, which I want to is the book. I think it's based on a book, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's not. No, I thought it was based on a book. I guess it's based on the urban legend of, Dead Man's Curve and everything. But yeah, this came out, I think it was shot around Scream, right around Scream, but I think it came out after Scream. But it's got Matthew Lillard, Kerry Russell's in it, Michael Vartan, who would later be on the TV show Alias with Jennifer Gardner before she lost her fucking mind. And then Randall Batinkoff is in it, who was in School Ties with Brendan Fraser. And actually, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, he was in the original movie. So there you go. And this is from Blockbuster. It does not have the Blockbuster sticker. I guess somebody took that off. But yeah, he sent this to me. And then I actually bought a copy. Like, I went to Monster Mania, I think, and bought a copy. And then I got home and I was like, oh shit, I already have that. So there you go. But it's okay, I suppose. Then we've got... I put a note on here. One of my favorite movies It's kind of like a sweet version of Natural Born Killers. Oh, there you go. But we have Love and a 45, which has Rory Cochrane is in it from Dazed and Confused, amongst other movies, and I think this is an early Renee Zellweger film. But Butthole Surfers, Johnny Cash, Reverend Horton Heat, Meat Puppets, Mazzy Star, and the Jesus and Mary chain are on the soundtrack, so I guess most of the budget went to that. Then we've got, if you know, you know, he put another note on here, the new Clinton Chronicles, which is funny because, you know, they're in the news again, but nothing's going to happen, people. Nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to leave it at that. Nothing is going to happen. No one's going to go to jail. No one's going to pay for... I don't know why people buy into all this shit, because nothing's going to happen. It's just the way the world works. I hate to burst your bubble, but you know, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, moving on then. I've always wanted to see this movie, but I never have. So when he sent this to me, I was pretty excited. But we have Wasabi with Jean Reno, which I've heard... I love Jean Reno. Always enjoyed his work. But I've heard a lot of good things about this movie. For those who take their action raw, there you go. But again, I've heard a lot of good things about this movie. This is a former Blockbuster rental here. So yeah, one of these days I'll sit down and watch this. Maybe I'll do a double feature with The Professional. So there's that. Or Leon the Professional. So there's that. Then we have, if it wants to come off of the stack there, we have Ozploitation in its finest. One day I'm going to remake this. There you go. But we have Fair Game, which is the Australian Mad Max type of movie. So there you go. Never heard of it, never seen it, but he sent it to me. So there you go. Then we've got Thunderground with Jesse the Body Ventura. And M. Emmett Walsh is in this. So there you go. Can't go wrong with that. And William Sanderson. Okay, cool. Very cool. Yeah, I don't know anything about this, but he sent it to me. So there's that. Then we have a Jackie Chan. I believe he produced this movie. Yeah, Jackie Chan presents, or he presented it or whatever, but we have Gen X Cops. What's on the front there, Fob? Come on now. Which they did cut this down to fit the box like they would do with a lot of the rentals back in the day, but it is from Blockbuster. So there's that. So I can't remember if this is the first one or the second one, because they did do another one. I think this might be the first one. And then they did one called Gen Y Cops, and Paul Rudd was in that one. Excuse me. So yeah, I think this is the first one. But I've never seen either of them. But I do remember Gen Y Cops had, again, Paul Rudd in it for some reason. Oh well. Then we have a Korean action film here. This is called Shiri, which this is actually a screener, as you can see, but it is sealed, so that's very cool. I have heard of this movie. I've never seen it before. Sony, at the time, they were putting out a bunch of these Korean action films. There's another one that they put out that I do remember seeing in the video stores back in the day. It was called Tube. I would like to check that one out at some point. All right, and then next up, we have, back in the day, she was stunning. She was absolutely gorgeous. We have Raquel Welch in 1 Million Years BC. I think she passed away. I'm pretty sure she passed away. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure she did. And this is from Blockbuster, which is cool. After she appeared in the film's publicity photo wearing her now famous cave girl bikini, Raquel Welch became a star and was instantly dubbed an international sex symbol. The photo became a top-selling pinup poster worldwide. Of course. But yeah, this is the 20th Century Fox Selections release, which they would put these little trivia tidbits at the bottom. But, I mean, that part is true, so there you go. And then we got a few more here that he sent me. Behave Hellraiser 4. We've got Blood, Guts, Bullets, and Octane. This is a screener as well. And I believe this was Joe Carnahan's first movie. Yeah, I think this was his first movie. This is a little independent film that he did. So there you go. And then got a bunch of screeners here. I think the rest of these, the rest of these are all screeners. We have The Tracker with Casper Van Dien and Russell Wong, and this is still sealed. Russell Wong from the Vanishing Son TV series, and then a little bit later on was Black Sash, which he should have been a bigger star, at least in my opinion. And then we have Arachnid, which is directed by Jack Shoulder, who did Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and The Hidden, and Steve Johnson did the special effects. So there's that. Very cool. And then we have... Excuse me. Sorry, I'm so excited I had to sneeze. We have John Woo's Once a Thief. Now, this is the pilot for the Canadian TV series. This is not the movie that he did with Chow Yun-fat. But this is the director's cut, which I don't think I've ever seen this. But this was syndicated here in America. John Woo did the pilot, but I think that was it. So I'll have to check that. I think the series is on DVD. I think you can get the whole series on DVD. So you know what? Actually, I'm going to call it there because we are slightly over an hour. I'll call it there, and then I'll move some stuff around, and then I'll knock out these two rows here in the next part, and then I'll just kind of work from the front back, make it a little easier. So we'll do that. So anyway, like I said, this is part 21, so get that knocked out. And I will come back in part 22, and we'll keep it rocking and rolling. So we'll talk to you guys then. Take care, as always, most importantly of yourselves, and we'll talk soon. Later.